Is April 10th, 2024, Town of Southington Board of Finance meeting, and we'll first stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Scouts. Oh, we sing at Scouts. Okay, a roll call, please, Mr. Bose.
Mr. Lebenik,
No.
Mr. Pocock,
No.
Mr. Bowdoin,
Yes.
Ms. Mazzarella,
Yes.
Mr. Stanforth,
Present.
Chair Larry.
Yes.
All right, 4 present, that's a quorum.
Okay. There are no public hearing items, so we'll move into old business, and we'll look for an approval of the minutes from our March 27th meeting, which are in our packet.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or revision to the minutes? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay, those are 4-0. Okay, financial assessment of the town. Mr. Bose.
Yes, what you have in front of you is item Roman numeral 5, number 1, revenues, and number 3, the contingency, as well as the capital projects, because for the quarter ending 3/31, which my predecessor started with you folks a while ago. So those are all included, and I'll take any questions.
I'm good.
Thank you.
All right.
I do know that, Wayne, you had asked at the last time about the capital, open space monies and where we were sequestering those that were approved. They're on that list, if you want to go through their capital projects
On the
list.
capital projects, yeah.
Capital item, Roman numeral 5-4, there's 3 items there, and you'll see them there. All right,
Thank
just for your follow-up from last meeting. All right.
Thank you.
Just looking at the contingency. How do we look at this thing? So 269 left.
If you approve, there's one item on tonight's
Yeah.
agenda. If you
Yeah.
approve that, there'll be 269,304 left. That's correct.
I think it's smart we bumped that up. Capital projects.
This is the quarterly ending March 31st, 2024, of course. And this shows you the transactions so far this fiscal 23-24, both for revenues and for expenditures. The amounts encumbered against each of the authorizations to spend, which is each line item, and the unencumbered balance. And the very last column is the funding source, which has a legend on page 2. So Wayne, what you were talking about last meeting, if you look at item number, project or account number 546, open space conservation, there's approximately $38,000 approved that has not yet been spent on those funds. Project 965, if you continue just going down the page, there's a balance of 93,003. And on page 2, the second item, Project 1003, there's a little over $500,000 left in that authorization.
When do we close them out?
With open space, it depends. If there's nothing specific, we will wait until we basically come up with enough projects to spend the money
They
on.
keep carrying it.
Correct. Because there's
But projects that are done, like a bridge, we do it, it's done, it's over. Do we close them out?
That's correct, we do. What you're seeing on this sheet are the items that are open only. On these 2 sheets, I should
Okay.
say.
All right, these are open items, got it.
If you have any other questions if you have more time to look at this stuff, don't hesitate to give me a call.
So $24 million in play, if I
That's-
look at that,
That's correct, unencumbered.
out there being earmarked towards these projects.
That's correct.
Okay, I see the sources.
So
Just looking at the numbering system, I assume the smaller numbers projects?
Yes, that's correct. With the exception of LoSiP, the first one, 512, 515, and 516, those are annual, and they're funded by the LoSiP and the Town Aid Road are funded by state grants. You guys are probably familiar with those by now. And what Project 515, what we call widening, surfacing, drainage, etc., that's covered by cash in the budget every year. And in the 24-25 budget, you remember Mark talking about this with you folks. That's the item, the only item really in the capital section of
So
the
we
budget
just keep
we
that open
funded.
all the time. We refill it, and
Correct.
so we don't close it, reopen it, close it, reopen it.
That's correct.
And what's a DePaulo landfill?
The Apollo landfill post-closure is the $150,600 are the amounts that the town has promised to sort of keep in reserve. Mark could probably, Mark, is that for monitoring or for?
It's for both. It's monitoring, and it's also for any future testing that's necessary. We were still in the closure period with DEEP on that, so that money's available for future monitoring and, more importantly, future testing. There's talk about we may have to test for PSAP and stuff like that, so that's the money available.
And what site is that? Where is that?
Apollo Drive, that's the old landfill, John. When you were younger, after we closed Old Turnpike Road, we did the Apollo landfill. That's right now it's the site where Supreme Products is.
Okay.
You know what Apollo Drive is? Yep.
I know where Supreme
Apollo
Product,
Drive's
yeah.
off the opposite West Queen.
Yep.
Yeah, Supreme Products is on the site, and they lease a portion of the landfill for storage, but that's the Apollo landfill.
Okay.
And again, if there's ever any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me.
And this 970, 44,000-pound highway truck. I mean, what is the story with that? CSC number 970, it looks like it's,
Yeah, it looks like we got it on order because we have 293,000 and change encumbered,
okay.
which is leaving a free balance of 74. But usually once a truck or any type of, especially any vehicle, but especially a heavy-duty vehicle, that might not be all loaded up yet. So I'm
So we
sure
must
that,
have a couple of them, because 978,000.
Yeah, last
Yes.
couple of years, you've been appropriating money through the budget process.
Yep.
Usually we did it through either allocation, budget allocation, or we did it through the undesignated fund balance.
So you use the same project code then? You go right to this and just kind of fill it up and keep
Yeah.
using it to buy trucks?
yeah, or we'd blow up Munis if we had to keep setting up
yeah.
a project number for all of these, yeah.
All right. And there's our school security one, 1036, huh?
That's correct.
And it looks like they still got 420,000 to go in there.
Unencumbered as of March 31st, that's correct.
Okay. So I assume they're doing what they should be doing, right? It's been a while now. November, December, January, February, March, April, 5-6 months. Not a lot of action there.
Some of the stuff may not be able to be done until the summer, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You know, John, they do a lot of their work during the summer. When
Yeah, if they're doing construction. Yeah, all right. Well, okay, so be it. Any more questions on this thing?
I'm good.
All right. Okay. Thank you all for the walkthrough. Anything else, Jim, while we're on the financial assessment to bring up? Expenditures are in line?
Right now, the only thing that is that's out of line, if you will, is the item that has been discussed since the beginning of the fiscal year, and that's the AMR matter.
Yep.
So, other than that, everything seems like it's pretty much in line.
Okay. Let's get into our subcommittee reports. Sewer.
Oh, that'd be me. I can't remember when we had, we have a meeting? No, we have a meeting tomorrow, so I don't have a new update.
Okay. Public Works.
There's
Mrs.
no
Mazrell?
financial aspects.
Okay. Open Space, Mr. Pocock is not here. Self-insurance,
We don't, do we have anything, Jim?
Self-insurance report, we just got, and our treasurer's tying in the numbers for last month. We just got it today, so it's a little bit too premature. However, the self-insurance committee does meet on April 24th, Wednesday, and if there's any significant changes, obviously,
Was it above?
it was very, I don't want to go on record yet, Kevin, but I'll tell you tomorrow because I'm waiting for our treasurer to tie. There was a huge transaction at the end of the month, and I want to make sure that they got it. They actually booked it in April, Anthem, I mean. So I want to make sure that this doesn't, come back and, bite us later. But if you don't mind waiting till tomorrow, maybe late morning, I can send you an email.
That's fine.
And if we have that information, obviously, on Friday, April 19th, that's when I set the agenda for the 24th meeting. So by then, it'll be taken
yeah.
care of. Yeah. So we just have to be careful the way I report it to the Self-Insurance Committee and to you folks and ultimately to the council, because it's almost like a deposit in transit. You know what I mean? Because when Anthem takes the money, we have it worked out in a secure fashion. And then they report it to us. Sometimes they might report something on the first or the second, the third of the month that's going back for the old month. Sometimes they hit you on the first, the second, or third of the month, and it's for the new month. So this was a large,
It's
what
a
we call,
claim, though, right?
well, it's a series of claims. It's not one claim. It's just one day's hit, if you call it that. So I want to make sure that Anthem has got it correctly, and our treasurer, Ann Anup, she's already aware of it. We've talked about it today. She's going to. She's on it first thing tomorrow morning. Actually, she was on it today as well. But we just got the report today, so it's Anthem has gotten a little later by a couple days each month. We don't get the reports sometime the 10th, 11th, or 12th of the month for the month that it just ended, of course. So we used to get them like the 6th, 7th. So depends upon when your meeting occurs versus that. So it's
so the process
time.
is we fund them first, and then they send us a report that ties to the amount we funded them?
What they do is when they every several days or so, they hit our account for the amount. We have to
So a
pre-authorize.
direct debit kind of thing?
Correct, but we have to authorize it before they take it out of the
Okay.
account. There is something within our banking arrangements and our security, I don't want to get too detailed with it, which allows them to say, okay, here's how much your account hit, and can we do this? And then at that point in time,
And then they back it up with detail that Ann ties out.
They actually they send us that sheet, which will actually show us the hit for that day. At the end of the month, what Ann does, Ann or I, we put it together. It's on a simple spreadsheet, and at the end of the month, we tie out to their monthly report. Their monthly report has it's quite voluminous, or voluminous. They've got every subgroup. We've got to have 40, 50 subgroups between the Board of Education, the town side, and it breaks down every single subgroup and their claims for that month. Then hopefully when we compare that monthly report, it agrees to our cash book. Usually it might be off that in-transit item, and then we make that adjustment properly to do it on sort of a gap basis. But that's okay. It's almost like, what we would do with our own personal checking account. We took a check for $100 to the bank on the 31st, and it's drawn on a different bank. You're probably not getting credit for it until April,
Okay.
but it's on your books for March, right, Wayne? I'm making sure I'm checking with the accountant here. Make sure.
All right, we'll move along. Economic
I have to
strike.
do a bank rec,
Economic
thank
strike, Wayne?
Meeting was canceled.
Board of, any subcommittee reports, investment, other than what we saw in the revenue?
Nothing, no.
Fire commissioner liaisons, anything going on?
The
You said meeting canceled. Okay. Any other thing? No, nothing else in boards? All right, public communications. Anybody from the public want to speak? I'll take that as a no. And board communications, any member-to-member communications? I have a couple, but anybody want to go first?
You're going to bring up the fire department stuff? Okay.
So, two things I have on the fire department. One of them is Monday, May 6th, the fire department is going to be working on updating their master plan. And they have a stakeholders meeting, so anybody who is considered a stakeholder to the fire department is invited to listen to their strategy and possibly share thoughts. That's Monday, May 6th. So we have an invite to go because the Board of Finance is a stakeholder. So anybody who wants to go can go. That's number one. Number two, I arranged for a meeting with the fire department. If it goes well, we'll put them on a cycle, not just the fire department and police, but maybe we'll add in public works and put a little cycle in. Other than the presentations we see at budget time, it's just a chance for us to see some of the inner workings of these major departments of the town. So, fire department on Wednesday, April 17th, that's next Wednesday. The fire chief has arranged for us to visit. I would like to split the group, so 3 members go from 6 to 7, and the other 3 members go from 7 to 8, so we don't constitute a quorum and have a de facto meeting. I think under FOIA, we have to be careful. Anytime we have 4 members together, we have the possibility of a de facto meeting, and we have to be very careful. So, if it's just information gathering and it's not a meeting where we're going to decide things and sort issues, that's all done in the public eye. So I'd like to have 3 people, tell me they want to go from 6 to 7, and 3 say they want to go from 7 to 8. I'll choose last, so everybody can have a chance. So it doesn't have to be done now, but as long as I know, I can get back to the chief, and I'll mention to Ed and
Yeah, I'll go, so we have a meeting that night for the dinner. I'll go at 6, 7, and you.
okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Give me the 6 to 7 too.
Okay.
We'll fill that spot.
All right, that puts me at 7 to 8, and I guess the other 2 have no choice. They're 7 to 8, and I'll tell them.
I mean, if they want to switch, I'll switch
Yeah,
with them.
yeah.
But yeah.
Or I could switch with them too.
Right.
But I'll tell them.
Well, you can't switch with them because you're going from 7 to 8.
Yeah, but yeah, you'd have to switch. You'd have to switch, or we'd have a de facto meeting. Okay. Next.
Oh, wait, can I just,
Yeah.
just remind you to put that assessor report on,
I was going to get to that in the next item, yeah.
on the agenda for May, right?
Yes, Mark and I met with her, and she will have that information for the May meeting. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, did we want to talk about the building applications? While we're here in, board communications, is this the spot?
Yeah.
We don't have it anywhere else, so we were given a schedule of the number of building, I guess they're permit applications and inspections. Any discussion, or we just want to take
Well,
it in?
I guess it was, I mentioned something at the last meeting regarding the building department and their backlog, if you will. I've just been hearing from people around town that the building department seems to be taking a little bit longer than they would have liked to get some permits and stuff out the door. So it's kind enough to grab the report, and it's 1 to 2 weeks. I guess when you're rushing to do something, it seems longer than maybe it really is. So I was curious about that. And this is interesting to see that the trend of applications and inspections has been going up. We only have 2 years to look at here, but for an example, in 2022, they did 8,100 inspections, and in 2023, they did almost 8,900 inspections. So the activity is going up in that department. And I think they were down a person for a while, too, if I remember correctly.
And we could see it's
Yeah.
2 inspections per permit. They must have to go out a couple times,
Right.
looks like.
Sometimes 3 or 4,
Yeah.
I imagine. So,
Yeah.
yeah, depending on who's doing it. So, interesting, interesting. Thank you.
Okay, good data point. Thank you, Candace.
You're welcome.
Okay, now we'll move into our administrative business. We'll take all 4 of these consent agenda items together. Just for the public, one more time, I always say this is money the town has already received, and we are just applying it to the department and the line item so that the town could spend it. An example would be the memorial bench. It appears here like a family donated a bench. They gave us the money, we have the money, and now we have to appropriate it to the line item so the money could be spent to buy the bench. So there are a few pulled out of here because we have a member who's, no. Yeah, for conflict of interest purposes, but we'll go through these. The first 4, appropriation 10,500, special revenue elections, early voting program expenditures. The next one, appropriation 2,580, special revenue town clerk nominee fee program services. Number 3, $2,000 even, special revenue police canine program supplies. Number 4, $2,200, capital projects memorial bench. Do I have a motion to accept them all as written?
Yeah, I'll make, did he do?
No, you,
No,
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
You
as a
jumped right
group.
in there.
I don't know.
need a second? Wayne?
Second.
All right. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed or any abstain? It carries 4-0. The next one, we have 8 little administrative business items. The first one, a department transfer. Department transfer, general fund, heart and hypertension, medical insurance, $24,330.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? That one carries. I just have to slide down here. Next one, appropriation $51,186, general fund, Board of Education.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those,
You're not going to make any comments?
no, you want to?
No, you do. This is your favorite one where they rentals. for
They rent the
school.
buildings, yeah. I have it here. All right, I'll make comment. Wayne wants to hear a comment. So, the Board of Ed rents out the facilities, the town collects the money, and then the Board of Ed asks for the money to be reappropriated back to them so they could spend it. So they had, in doing this, some of it was that, and some of it are tuitions. This here happens to be all tuitions.
Oh, this is tuition?
Yeah, this is tuitions.
That makes sense.
This is preschool tuitions, integrated tuitions, this is all tuition.
Oh.
$51,185.51.
I definitely should go back to the school then.
We have a motion, yeah, this isn't rental. We do usually have rental. And we have ag science tuition. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carries 4-0. Number 3, department transfer, $4,785. Police medical services.
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion?
Can you just give me a second here?
Yeah.
What kind of medical services is the police department?
Says they fell short of their budget. Unanticipated drug and medical testing for employment candidates to fill their vacancies.
Okay, so it's okay. I didn't know what medical
We
services.
also have to do behavioral health assessments too, as part of the police law.
Police
Higher
Accountability Act, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion and a second on that?
Yeah.
Okay, that was discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? All right, that carries. Number 4, department transfer, 25,000, police, other professional services, and it says here, unanticipated labor-related costs, and a retirement, and they're running a promotion process.
I'll make a motion to approve that transfer.
Transfer of $25,000. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just want to make a note that we have several transfers out of regular wages at the police department, so it's kind of interesting to see.
Yes.
They have vacancies, right?
They
We
do.
fully fund the line, and then somebody's not there, somebody quits, retires, the line is still fully funded. So then we could take from that line and apply it elsewhere.
Is there a way of anticipating that? And, I mean,
There may be, but I think we're under obligation to fully fund the line. Even if we said
Yeah.
5% of that line, we
Mr.
can't
Chair,
do
you're
that.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
well, maybe you can reduce
Yeah,
another
you're absolutely
line.
correct. We have to fund the entire line, even though we know there's going to be vacancies during the year. You're absolutely correct.
This year, it seems like it's a little bit higher than normal, some of the vacancies.
But it does seem like in a broad sense, we overstate, and then we take that money and apply it elsewhere.
And usually within the police department, he's like guaranteeing himself
Yeah.
over budget.
That's correct. It's usually a transfer within the department.
Just wanted to make a note.
Noted. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Number 4 carries. Number 5, department transfer, $21,655, police vehicle maintenance.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. It says here they fell short. $1,000 for tires, $2,900 for air conditioning and a rear wiper, $2,008 for emergency lights, $2,400 for patrol vehicle tire replacements, $8,400 for engine coils, alternators, exhaust systems, manifolds, and front wheel bearings. So it's all over the place.
But we definitely have to keep the patrol cars
Yeah.
running. And as we all have our own cars, we know that they do break down and they do need repair work. And it's always unexpected.
We should keep that in mind, because if they have more and more cars, the maintenance budget would have to go up too,
That's
right?
Correct.
They can't use the, maintenance budget for whatever, 20 cars if they have 25.
Well, as cars get older, obviously, they do so much idle time, police vehicles take a beating.
But I thought they had a pretty good replacement program over there. I thought they were doing a good.
They do.
We do
Cycle.
four vehicles a year.
Yeah. Okay.
But now I think they're saving the old ones, keeping them in the fleet for the road
Yeah.
jobs. And then
That's-
they charge them out to Eversource and
That's correct.
the private companies that need
You are correct.
road work. So I guess we get it
Those
back
are
in a
not
different
frontline
way.
vehicles, that's Jim will tell you.
Okay, did we do a motion in a second? I've lost
Yes.
track. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? All right, number 6, from contingency, a transfer of $67,196 for IT computer maintenance.
I'll make a motion.
Needs a little bit of explanation after the motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I see the request here for computer maintenance, software and hardware that we purchased, we didn't budget. Okay, go ahead, explain.
Briefly, we put in a new HR model that we spent about 10 grand on as part of the software upgrade for the plan review, kind of what Wayne was talking about to help the fire and police, the fire and the building department. We've also upgraded that. As you are also aware, one of the biggest things we did is we changed our bidding system, and we have Planet Bid, which went through your board and the council. That's another $20,000. And we used to have the data cabinet in the HR office, which some of you know this, puts up quite a humming sound, so we had to relocate that. So the total of $67,196. and unanticipated, we suggest it comes out of contingency.
Okay, any more discussion?
Will you think there'll be enough money in contingency for the rest of the year?
Well,
Well, contingency is interesting. Yes, we have 269,000 left.
That's
but
correct.
Remember, Wayne, after April 1st, contingency becomes kind of less important than it does before April 1st because the charter allows us to take monies from other lines at that point. But I do believe contingency should be okay. I don't expect any more snowstorms. I do expect we're going to get another couple of bills on AMR and maybe another legal bill from someone else. I don't know. But I expect a couple more from AMR. I know the testimony has closed on AMR, but they're working on briefing, and the lawyers charged for writing briefs. So I expect to get a couple more from them.
Thank you.
You should have been a lawyer, Mark.
Wait a minute.
they get charged.
My previous life, I was.
They charge by the page. That's why a brief is hundreds of pages long.
Brief is not brief.
A brief ain't brief.
The brief is not brief. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Number 6 carries. 2 more. Number 7, department transfer in 3 parts. It's all for Zoning Board of Appeals advertising, $630, $750, and $150.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Third.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? None. Number 7 carries. Number 8, it's a repurposing and a transfer from ARPA, so we'll take a roll call vote. We get to this. So this is $40,266 for ARPA for a fire UTV, a vehicle, terrain vehicle, whatever the U is.
That's correct.
Jim, could you explain this for them, please? It's a redo from last month.
Certainly.
Can you explain, Jim?
Certainly. We had, I goofed actually. Last month's meeting, I had this on the agenda as an item that was within the ARPA general phraseology of the line item. I thought it said fire vehicles when we originally, a couple years ago, got the funding, maybe going on 3 years now. It was actually specified as fire ladder truck. So, of course, we bought the ladder truck, and we have the $40-some-odd thousand left. So we have to basically now I have to do a redo of what we did last month just by informing the council that we were just repurposing those funnies. Now we need to repurpose them and actually transfer them and appropriate them to a new line item for that vehicle that you saw in your packet last month, $40,296 or 266, $40,266.
Did they purchase that vehicle yet?
No, I believe no, they have not.
All right, I
'Cause it's
saw
not-
something, maybe it was another town.
It is not.
Maybe it was Wolcott or somebody.
It is not-
Just a fancy thing.
It is not on the system
Okay.
yet
I was
because
going to wonder how that
Yeah.
could be.
my deputy went to post it actually at after your meeting and waiting for the council. We do like a pre-post, if you will, and she said, "Hey, I don't think we can do that." So I looked into it and I said she was right, and I just
Somewhat.
But
off
I want to make sure we get the federal money
Yeah.
correct, and we have like I said, a roll call vote.
Well, you
This is-
explained it. We'll do a roll call vote on it. It's consistent with other actions we took.
Can I just get
Yeah.
an update? Is the ladder truck in service yet?
The
Mark?
ladder truck.
Yeah.
Mark, do you know if the ladder truck's here? It's on its way. Last I heard.
That's what I heard last. But then no, I heard they would.
It's in Connecticut. We had it on site for a short time. It's in Wallingford now to do the last of the touch-ups, and we're hoping by the end of April to have it on the front line.
Awesome.
Thank you for the update.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the repurpose and transfer.
Second.
Motion, second by Mrs. Mazzarella, and we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Sure. I'll just call on the members who are here. Mr. Bowdoin,
Yes.
Ms. Mazzarella,
Yes.
Ms. Mazzarella, I'm sorry, Mr. Stanforth,
Yes.
Chair Larry.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, any other business to come before us? Let's look for our favorite motion,
Motion to approve. Approved. I did it again.
7:38.
Second.
Motion to adjourn, seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Enjoy the rest of the week.